A very good day to all of you. My name is Ishan Sharda, and today I'll be presenting on the topic compliance in the cloud. Now, you might be thinking compliance, which means paperwork, audits, rules, right? But the thing is, in the world of cloud computing, compliance isn't just about taking boxes or filling forms, it's about trust. It's about ensuring that when your data, be it personal, financial, or even national data, which travels halfway across the world into a data center, it's still protected under the same laws, ethics, principles that govern it here. Think of compliance as the invisible guardian angel of cloud security, making sure that innovation doesn't outrun the responsibility. So, today, instead of just listing regulations, I'll walk you through how compliance shapes cloud security, how it protects businesses from billion-dollar fines, maintains user trust, and keeps cloud providers accountable. So, when we talk about cloud security, the first thing that comes into the mind is encryption, access controls, firewalls. But compliance goes a level deeper. It it's about proving that all of that actually meets a standard, whether legal, industrial, or internal. Compliance in the cloud is really about trust. It tells your customers and auditors, yes, our systems follow globally accepted principles. And that's what I'll be breaking down today. So, how does compliance exactly tie into governance, audits, and control frameworks inside the ecosystem? So, when you move into the cloud, you're outsourcing the infrastructure but not your responsibility. Compliance ensures that data stored in those data centers remains secure, integral, and always available. That's the classic CIA triad. It also helps you demonstrate that you're following rules like GDPR or HIPAA, not just for legal reasons, but because it builds confidence. Think about it. Companies like AWS or Zoom aren't trusted just because they're fast, but because they're certified and regularly audited. And lastly, compliance prevents disasters before they happen. It's cheaper to detect misconfigurations early than deal with penalties or reputation losses later. Every organization has its own internal playbook, how data is stored, who can access it, and how long it is retained. Internal policy compliance is about aligning the cloud setup with those policies. For example, a company might have a rule that all logs should be retained for 90 days. So compliance ensures that cloud follows that automatically. Tools like AWS Config or Azure Policy constantly scan for any deviation. It's a self-checking system. That is, if a developer accidentally turns off encryption or opens up a port, the policy engine catches it instantly. So internal compliance keeps the organization's security culture consistent even in a dynamic cloud. Now, once policies are in place, control objectives define what success looks like. These are measurable targets like encrypt all the S3 buckets or enable multi factor authentication for all the admins. They're mapped to frameworks like COBIT or ISO 22702 so that different organizations can compare themselves against the same yardstick. Think of control objectives as the checklist that auditors use. They translate broad rules into technical actions. So when you hear a company say we're ISO 27001 certified, it basically means that we've met all those control objectives successfully. Governance, risk, and compliance. This is where the things get integrated. Governance defines who's in charge, who approves changes, who monitors incidents. Risk management identifies what could go wrong, like misconfigurations or insider access. And compliance ensures everything aligns with external standards. Together, GRC provides a singular view of an entire organization's cloud posture. Platforms like ServiceNow GRC or RSA Archer automate this process. They pull audit logs, assign accountability, and even generate reports for executives. It's what keeps large enterprises sane when they're managing hundreds of cloud accounts. CSP service provider specific control objectives. Here we look at the responsibilities of cloud providers themselves, AWS, Azure, GCP. They secure the infrastructure, that is the data centers, the networks, the hypervisors, while customers secure their applications and data. That's the shared responsibility model. Providers offer tools like AWS KMS and Azure Key Vault for encryption key management, IAM for access control, and centralized logging via CloudTrail or Azure Monitor. These controls are what make third party audits possible because they show that both sides, CSP and the client, they're both contributing to the compliance. Regulatory and external compliance. This is the heavy duty side where real world laws meet cloud technology. If you're handling EU citizen data, GDPR applies. If it's healthcare, HIPAA applies. If you're processing payments, PCI DSS applies. External compliance provides that you're globally aligned. The Cloud Security Alliance's STAR certification is one example. It publicly lists where providers meet which controls. For Companies expanding internationally being compliant isn't optional, it's a passport to operate across regions. You might have seen these popular logos at the bottom of major companies' websites or documents. And these are popular frameworks and policies. Auditing is where compliance gets validated. Auditors start by defining scope, which services, data types, or regions to check. Then they collect all the evidence logs, policies, screenshots. Assessment follows, comparing the evidence to standards like SOC 2 or ISO 27001. Reports highlight non compliance areas and remediation steps follow. Tools such as AWS Audit Manager or Google Assured Workloads now automate much of this. So organizations can move from the annual audits to continuous assurance. Compliance at scale isn't manual anymore, it's automated. Tools like AWS Config, Azure Policy enforce real time rules across thousands of hundreds of resources. Vulnerability scanners like Nessus or Prisma Cloud find weak spots before attackers do. Policy as a code, frameworks like Open Policy Agent or HashiCorp Sentinel embed compliance directly into CI/CD pipelines, so you can catch violations before deployment. Finally, dashboards from OneTrust or Splunk bring all this together, giving leadership a single view of risk, compliance, and audit readiness together. So, to wrap it up, compliance is evolving from a static checklist into a living process. In the future, audits will be AI driven, zero trust aligned, and even use blockchain to make logs tamper proof. It's not just about passing audits anymore, it's about building systems people can truly trust. And I'd like to close this one with one line that really sums it up. Security builds walls, but compliance builds trust. Thank you.